AI voice agents are blowing up everywhere. Everyone's trying to race to find the best platform. And last week I was joined by SFlow for a complete masterclass live from their team, which in my opinion is one of the best voice agents out there on the market right now that you could be using. They're going to be giving you a live demo of the platform, showing you exactly how it works, some of the best use cases that they've seen agencies implementing voice AI, as well as answering some questions from the community, including latency, the future of voice AI, as well as who best to sell them to. So let's jump into it.
Thank you very much, Liam. I will start. I'm one of the co-founders here at SFlow. I take care mainly of the commercial side. So if you schedule a call for us for agency, the chances are high I'll be in the call telling you about our agency plan. Yeah, looking forward to this webinar. We're here, we prepared some materials and happy to answer all your questions. Yeah, looking forward to this, Sasun.
Brilliant. Good to have you. All right. So who from the team is going to run the demo? Is it you, Sas?
Yes, it will be me. I'm also one of the co-founders of SFlow, mainly on the technical side. And yeah, without further ado, let's dive into. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, so let's dive in. I have so many things to show, actually, but I will keep it brief and go only through the essential things. And later on, we will also have a Q&A where you can ask specific questions. But what is SFlow about? SFlow is a voice AI platform where you can build voice agents without any line of code. And the voice agents currently are mostly used from our SMEs for support and sales use cases. I will go further into that, but what you can basically do is build those phone agents that I think you guys have already seen before. We have also some industry-specific templates, which I will show you guys in a bit. You can start off quickly with them without creating that from scratch, but the possibilities are basically endless for you. Yeah, we can also discuss a little bit about the pricing, etc., and going deep dive into that. But I will keep that for Hako. Let's dive into the platform. When you arrive, this is the main dashboard. This is our internal dashboard where we have like 100 agents. So it looks a little bit crowded, but you see here the main dashboard with all the different AI assistants that you created, right? You can start creating them from scratch by clicking here on Create Assistant, or you just go and use the ready-made templates where everything is already nicely configured for you. And as you guys know, in AI, everything is kind of, is turning or going around the prompt, creating a good prompt. So I will go a little bit more deeper into that as well. Let's go from the start, like creating an agent. You can select here either outbound, inbound, the badge, or the widget. Mostly we see outbound use cases where you either trigger via Zapier, REST API, Go High Level, or other CRMs a outbound call. And let's dive into that and quickly create one together. Yeah, so this is the main configure page here. You can add a photo here to the agent. You can add a name, and most importantly, you can select voices, right? We have here a curated list of voices that you can select from. Yeah, more than 52. We use 11 Labs for the voices, which is the best provider out there. They have really human, realistic voices, and you can basically select them here, right? You can also listen to them, get a preview of the voice, and then once you selected that, you can just save it. I have now Natasha here. I can use the AI model here and select like which one I would like to use. So we give you the control over that. As default, we have here GPT-4. And this is then a trade-off because usually GPT-4 is smart, broadly speaking, but also a little bit slower. When you really want to optimize for further latency, then I suggest going with GPT 3.5. Then there's a bunch of other settings you can do. I won't go into the details of everything because it might be too much. But what is super important here is also then enabling the voice recording, which is default turned off. So once the call is done, you get a nice audio recording of the call, and then you can revisit that and have it saved for you and do like post-processing steps. All right, then this is the second step. You need to create a prompt, right? And here we have obviously templates for you already, so you don't need to do that from scratch. You can select those here. Yeah, I'll just skip that for now. This is fine. The prompt is cool. We have also a prompt co-pilot here, where you can interactively chat with a co-pilot that will craft the prompt for you. So you are basically chatting with it, you're telling it what you want to achieve, what are the goals, etc. And it will then, in the end of the process, throw you a nice prompt that you can just copy and paste into this prompt builder here. I can also add variables, etc., to make everything dynamic, but I'll skip that for now. We have also actions out of the box that you can use, like sending an SMS, the real-time booking, which is kind of the killer feature that we have right now, to schedule appointments during the call. We have the call transfer. We have the action to extract information from the call. So whatever was said, you can extract the information here, as well as the assistant team, which I will not go into detail, but we will release that for general availability soon. And this will be quite cool, because you will be able to create a team of AI agents that interact with each other. Yeah, then last but not least, you need to add or select your number. We work with Twilio, so you can have a Twilio account and then just drop your credentials here, and then we automatically fetch the available numbers for you. Yeah, in this case, I have already used all of them, so there's nothing to select for me. And that's basically it. This is the setup. If you want to get started with a basic setup, it's pretty much like 3-4 minutes to do so, right? Later on, you can then try it out, adjust, and optimize it. But the initial creation is like really fast. Yeah, let me show you maybe one more thing, which is then here the logs. This is super useful because here you can actually see all the calls that happened for this specific agent. If you do some testing, you will see them here. If that was an actual production call, you will see them categorized here. And then you have all the information to that call, right? In this case, I don't have any recording because I haven't enabled that here, but you see the whole transcription. You see any actions that were triggered here. For example, yeah, the action was to extract the email address during the phone call. So this is here also shown. And yeah, there's some further information here. What is also cool is that you can rate this call. This is super important to improve the system overall and improve the assistant. So once you give feedback here, if it was rather great or awful, we take that and then improve the assistant as well. So if you are using a SFlow, then go ahead and give us feedback here that will improve the performance of the agent. This is the agent setup. Let's go a little bit into other areas of our platform. Obviously, you can create API keys, right? And then share those API keys with your partners. You can add the Twilio, as I mentioned. You can add your own 11 Labs key. And we have also a native integration with Go High Level. So when you go into Go High Level or use Go High Level, you can check out our app in the app marketplace, which is one of the top apps installed on Go High Level. And then you can connect your sub account on Go High Level directly here with your SFlow. One thing that is super exciting is our new workflow builder. So, you know, there is Zapier, Make, Go High Level, and all the CRMs have their workflow builder. And guess what? We have that now natively integrated into our tool as well. So you don't need to use other providers like Zapier. You can if you want, But you can also do this now nicely natively integrated within SynFlow, and it is packaged in the pricing as well. And it works similar to all the other workflow UX. So you can here select the trigger, for example, a new submission in my type form. Someone filled out something. Based on that submission, I'm doing a phone call, right? And this is dynamically populated. So the to number that I get from the type form is populated in this action. The name from the type form is added here, and a bunch of other stuff. So with this flow, you can execute calls, right? And we have more than 200 apps that you can connect to. Here are the triggers, like there's Airtable, Calendly, Facebook. Well, it will take a couple of minutes for me to go through them all. Too many, but there is like powerful integrations you can have to use them as triggers as well as actions. And in general, without going too deep into this, you will need to build like 2 flows per agent, right? One flow is making the call based on a trigger. And then the second workflow is once you have done the call, you will need to get the result of the call, the transcription, etc., and the data that was extracted, and save it in a CRM, save it in one of those many tools here, right? So since this is also agency focused, I would like to emphasize on our agency plan. What you can do with SynFlow, which I think is unique in the market, is that you can create sub-accounts. So you can create, similar to Go High Level or other CRMs, dedicated accounts for your clients to manage them and then also to resell them, right? For example, here you see the list of all my sub-accounts for my agency, and you can manage them here. You have a nice overview of all of them, like what's the consumption, etc. Let me go just into one. Just click here on manage, then I see more details about the sub-account. I obviously can do a bunch of settings like naming it, adding trial minutes for my users for the sub-account, configuring how many assistants they can create, which assistant type they can create, and I can also connect them to Go High Level automatically, right? So they are kind of synced together. I can see the users, this is fine, and see also the logs that this specific sub-account has done. And one of the important features is also being able to package a custom pricing for this sub-account, right? So you are an agency, you want to resell the voice AI system. You can do that nicely and easily with SynFlow, where you just create different pricing plans, right? So for example, here, you can create a rebilling pricing plan where you set the name of the pricing, the description, and then how many assistants that pricing package or tier should have. This. Okay, then I say like 3. I don't want that they use badge and widget. And then here is the nice thing that I wanted to show you. You can basically select the monthly subscription fee for that specific pricing that your users should pay. You can add the plan minutes, so how many minutes should the pricing plan have, let's say 500. And then this is an important option here. You can configure the variable pay-as-you-go pricing that your customer needs to pay you for each minute consumed, right? You will have an internal pricing point that you would need to pay for the SynFlow usage, which is in this case here 15 cents. And then you can go ahead and like just add any margin on top of that you want. And once you create those pricing tiers, you can then assign it to a specific sub-account. They can check it out, add their credit card to it, and then basically buy this subscription tier. Everything is nicely connected to Stripe, so you basically create your own Stripe account, or you bring your own Stripe account, which I assume many of you will have, the money gets automatically deployed to your Stripe account. So we are not withholding that, or you don't need to wait for any payment. We just take the fee automatically and deduct it from that. And yeah, everything is nicely automated for you. Just as a last point, you can also obviously add your own domain. So right now we are here on FineTuner, which we will change because we branded a while ago. But you can also add your own domain here. And it's quite simple. You type in your name, you add your DNS from your domain provider. You can customize the meta tags here as well. And then you are good to go. So it takes just a couple of minutes to get this started, to add your own custom domain. So you will have also a nice branded product that feels like totally white labeled. In future, and very short future, we'll also have the capabilities that you can add your own brand colors and whatnot. Right now, you can only add your logo, but we will also work on that you can also customize a little bit the look and feel of the agency plan. Yeah, there are many more things I can talk to, but I want to also give you the opportunity to ask some questions. Just as a last point, we have also a partners program. So once you're on the agency plan here, you can get listed to our partner network, right? And here, those are the agencies that we are working with, and you can get listed here. And once you get listed here, our customers, our dental offices, our real estate agents, if they want to have like a specific workflow, etc., where they are struggling with, and some do, then they would like to reach out to experts of SynFlow that can handle those customizations, right? And they would just like fill out the form here, and you will get the information. But also we internally as a company, we get bombarded on intercom and within our Slack channels from leads, from customers that are already created an account that are saying, hey, I want to build this workflow that does this in its first step, second step, this. So they want to have like fairly complicated workflows and integrations and automations. And we as SynFlow, we cannot handle all of those. Obviously, we want to focus on building the best product in the world. So we would like to defer those leads to you as well, saying like, hey, look, this is Thomas, he has a dental office, he wants to build this and that. Why you don't talk to him and make him successful? And this is kind of a win-win for all, because you make them successful, and yeah, we are successful because you made him successful, and also you can then also earn some money by doing that and charging your fee. Yeah, I was running through a little bit of our platform. Obviously, I can go into any depth you want, but I wanted to also give you the possibility to ask some questions so we can go specifically into those.
Mate, we really appreciate the demo there. Yeah, I've just got a couple of points, and Jakob, I'll let you jump in. Guys, obviously, my channel is really focused on simplifying this stuff for you, so you don't need a development background. I think SynFlow is a really strong character in that. Like the fact that there is now that agency pricing, if you think about the opportunities, you can essentially give these bots away and just charge per minute. That's a lead magnet right there if you can afford to pay for the agency plan, right? Now, I'm not saying go and do that, but I'm just saying like think of the opportunities that could come from this. Think about how you could utilize this in your agency. So I love that style, the whole go high level sort of setup that sent everyone crazy and everyone was running go high level agencies, reselling go high level. Same thing kind of applies here. One quick question on workflows. One part of my video that I filmed, it was kind of building and integrating into Go high level. So does this mean instead of me having to go to Go high level, set up a webhook to then build it inside of Go high level, I can just send a webhook out when a contact is landing in Go high level and then just call through your workflows?
Yes, absolutely. That's correct.
Great.
So you can do that natively integrated here already. We have the action here, and then you have like update, create contact, and yeah, you can do also arbitrary API calls. So everything is there. You just need to drop your API key from Go high level, and then you are good to go. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, Jakob, I know you had something to say there, mate.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I just wanted to add one point, because we've been also hearing some questions in terms of where is this voice technology going, right? What you can expect, right, in terms of like latency and where is this going when it's like, what are the expectations? And I can assure you, like, this is the core that we're working on this. And just wanted to say, Sasun, maybe you can cover also a couple of points on that, like in terms of voice technology, what kind of improvements are coming there in terms of latency and interruptions, I think, because we've heard some questions on that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It must be a core thing you guys are focused on right now.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. We have very good engineers who have formerly worked at the London Stock Exchange for latency optimization for high frequency trading. So if they are not solving this, who could? They are in a perfect position to do that. And this is the core piece that we are wanting to focus, right? There's making the best voice technology out there and simplifying it in a no-code manner. This is kind of our unique position here, right? So you don't need to have a coding background or something, like work with React, JavaScript, or whatever. No, it should be very simple for you to get started. And how will we improve basically our voice technology? There are a bunch of components that we are working with. It's just not only one thing that we need to optimize, but we will build our own fine-tuned models for those specific use cases that are faster and that are solving the problem more reliable than the bigger models of OpenAI, right? And we see already great results with that, where we have like customized, fine-tuned LLMs that are only trained to do appointment booking, or they're only trained to extract the email, et cetera, et cetera. So really having fine-tuned language models that are specifically good at a specific task. This is one thing. And obviously, it's also cheaper if we use our models, which is also a great sign for you, because we can afford you then a low per minute price, which I think we are already pretty good and competitive in the market. But also here, we still have like way to go once we go into further optimizations.
If you are trying to build your agency right now and you're trying to get to $10,000, $20,000 per month, and you're looking for a group that you can join where you can get one-on-one support live from me and the team, where we work with you one-on-one, helping you build your agency, then there's a waitlist down below in the description that you can join. We have clients inside going from $0 to $10,000 in less than 60 days, selling voice agents to businesses just like you're seeing in this video. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, join the waitlist down below and schedule your call with the network. Brilliant. Yeah, what's your thoughts, before we open up the floor, what's your thoughts on just in general, how you think the world's going to be? Because I've had a lot of people ask me, look, Liam, are people actually going to be speaking to AI agents in like 6 months' time? Personally, I think it's the norm, right? It's going to be the way the world goes.
Absolutely. But I think one thing that I feel every day, I have a lot of calls now as a founder with people on Google Meet or Zoom, right? And, you know, 3 months ago, people were saying like, hey, I have this AI note taker app, right? Is it okay for me to use it? I was like, yeah, you can use it. Today, nobody asks. I'm joining the call. There are like more AI assistant note takers in the Zoom or Google Meet call than humans, and nobody bats an eye. It's a new standard that there is an AI listening to you or taking the notes, etc. So I expect here the same kind of human behavior where it just gets normal. And also if the tech gets better, then people are more comfortable with that. And it also depends on the use case, right? If you have a good voice, if you're calling the customer at the right time for the right kind of intent, then we are seeing very good results with that, right? Just one more thought, and this is more like a longer discussion or a longer view here, but imagine this, soon, and this is what we believe, I don't know about the timeline, but soon, like Apple might release a Siri 2.0, right? You know, all Siri, right? Kind of sucked, but the new Siri, which will have an LLM, a large language model behind that, which is super fast, this will be kind of a Cambrian explosion for voice AI. So every human, even my grandmother, will have a voice assistant on the phone, right? And for them, it will be something super like standard, normal, right? But now comes the interesting thing. Apple will obviously just build for consumers, right? It will not be a B2B phone that calls up and hooks up to Zapier and whatnot. So if everyone has an AI voice assistant on the phone that can take calls, well, who will be the one that is calling the agent with an AI, right? So it could be something like SynFlow, where you program on the business side also an AI agent that basically calls the personal Siri assistant, and they talk and yeah, finalize everything. What I'm saying is nothing that comes tomorrow, but like Liam, since you asked me about like the long-term view here, I believe totally that like this agent to agent, AI to AI communication will be a big thing in future. I don't know if it's 2 years, 1 year, or sooner, but this is something that will be quite big, I think.
100%. Think about it. A sales guy calls you now. There's so much emotion behind it. He needs to sell. You don't know if you're getting screwed over, whether you're getting the best deal. An AI agent calls you. There's no emotion there. They don't care. They're there to serve you. They're following a script. That's it. You know you're getting the best deal. You know they're following procedures. They're not trying to snake you out of just to try to get some commission in. So yeah, something to consider. But great, mate. Really appreciate you answering those questions.
Two more thoughts on this. I think what we're also seeing, one big trend is happening right now is the emotions. So embedding emotions into AI so it can handle those better, right? Understanding the situation, if it's a situation to make a joke, right? Or it's the situation to be more compassionate and etc. So this is something you can expect to be there at some point, probably this year. I think this is one thing that's very interesting. And another trend is we're seeing is at some point, especially for this very repetitive, boring tasks, it may happen that AI talks to AI, right? Like imagine if, let's say, you implement it for some car dealership or for a dental office AI that takes call, it may be that another AI calls that, right? So you can basically completely outsource this first step of this boring, unnecessary scheduling part to the machines, right? And then if it fits, right, if the call is qualified, then humans can meet and save time. And this is what we're seeing from our successful agencies. Like those that are successful, they really find the spots with their clients where they reduce this work. They have return on investment from day one, right? If someone says, I have 100 missed calls, right? And you put the AI there, it takes 100 calls. Suddenly it's an absolute no-brainer for this technology, right? Even with its probably shortcomings at this stage. And this is highly, I would encourage people to look in that area where you can mostly utilize this technology at this stage.
There you go. All right. Well, look, I reckon we give the guys an opportunity to ask some questions. I know we've got a couple of guys here with their hands up. So, B, did you want to jump in first, mate?
Yeah, please. So obviously latency is the big question right now for a lot of phone stuff. However, Grok's API is super, super, super fast. Is it possible to integrate their API and then have their API bring in the tokens and then an 11 Labs voice model for the voice and combine the two?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's possible. We're working on that. We, in fact, have integrated Grok as well. There's one caveat with Grok, unfortunately. The technical side with the TPUs that they have is like amazing. The only thing is like they don't have such a good model. They use Mixtral, which is an open source model without going too deep here. And what we have found out is that the same prompt that you use for GPT-4, it works way, way worse with Mixtral. So you cannot just use one prompt here and take it into the Grok, let's say LLM, because it performs rather bad about it. But we will fix that. So we are in the making currently to create an auto prompt optimizer that no matter what LLM you are using, it will be the best prompt for that specific LLM. So to answer your question, yes, we will have Grok as well to make use of the fast speed of the LLM. We just need to fix the issue of Grok being not so good with like prompts or interpreting prompts and taking the instructions that are on the prompt. This is still a lacking piece.
Yep. And then is there a way to bring your own model so from any API, like just a general API connector that we can hook into?
Yes, you can. You can
Okay,
add your
cool.
own API key, but they will only work with the kind of bigger providers right now. If you want to use a more exotic LLM or provider, today you cannot do it, but actually it's not a big deal for us to implement that as well. So that could be
Gotcha.
something we can put on the roadmap, yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking for the balance between developer tools and then no developer tools, because as a developer myself, I want to have that flexibility. But I love the platform and what you guys have built. So thanks for taking my question.
Absolutely.
Cheers for coming up, B. All right, we got Patrick. Are you ready, mate?
Yeah, all set. Firstly, thanks to Sasa and to Jakob for putting this together. It's really informative and definitely gets me almost set to get going on this. But I do have a few questions just in terms of how this will work for me and my agency personally. So just looking at knowledge base, I see that it's kind of a system prompt rather than knowledge base and system prompt type of style. Is that something that you've looked at implementing over time, like to have frequently asked questions? That type of stuff implemented in there, just to,
Absolutely.
if somebody say goes off script
Absolutely.
within the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good point. This is one of the highest priority topics that we are working on today already. So FAQ, bringing in knowledge base, is something we are working on, and it will come. Don't nail me on the timeline, but we are already on it, and I think something next week we will have an early version of that we can open up to the private beta. And it's basically like the RAG type of system where you can upload documents, PDFs, throw in a link of a website. We take the information of the website, populate it into the AI agent's brain, so to say, and then it takes the information to answer questions. So yeah, that will be definitely
Okay, great.
possible.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And then in terms of like an option for human handoff, is that something that's been considered at all? If somebody suggests over the phone, maybe they've picked up that it's an AI that they're talking to. Is there any option to hand that off to a human agent?
Yeah, absolutely. We have that today already.
Oh, great.
We call it the live transfer, or here the call transfer. So you can basically program that already. So you can add the number where it should be transferring to. And then as a second point, you need to tell the condition. So if user wants to talk to the manager or business owner, this is the condition. We will check against that for each sentence that the human says. If that condition holds true, we will call this number here.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. Really nice. And then in terms of like an analytics page, I know you've got the logs already there. Have you started working on or had thoughts on working on an analytics page that kind of picks up on where calls tend to drop off within the conversation, common objections that people have within the conversation, that type of stuff?
Yeah. This is also quite a lot requested. It's also high on our agenda. We don't have it today, but it's not that complex to do. What we plan to do is basically asking an LLM to evaluate, which works very nicely, actually. So you can ask the LLM, hey, tell me what are the insights here, and it can do so, right? So this is something we will add. You can, in fact, already program that with a workflow where you take the transcription and throw it into ChatGPT, for example, and then tell them to evaluate that. But we will have that nicely done within our platform already. Yeah.
Nice. And then in terms of integration into applications, whether that be web or mobile, is that what the widget function is for? Is that for kind of integrating within websites and mobile apps?
Yes, absolutely. So we have here the widget as well, which I haven't demoed. As I mentioned, too much stuff to demo. But yeah, you can build the agent similar to what I just showed you for the inbound or the outbound. And in the end, you will get this HTML code, which is an iframe, right? You take this HTML code, and then you can paste it into your WordPress, Webflow, or mobile app. And yeah, people can talk to it, right? So it's a optimized, mobile optimized widget. So that's there today already. Yep.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah. So, and finally, last one, because I know I've asked a lot, but in terms of the applications that you think that this is kind of like perfect for at the moment, I see like lead gen is, or not lead gen necessarily, but lead qualification. So, you know, where there's a defined script that you run through. Is there any other applications that you think that this is, you know, really perfect for, and ones that you think maybe it's not ready for exactly yet and might be soon?
Absolutely.
Question, mate.
This is a very good question. Very good question. Generally speaking, I would avoid the AI doing calls that are supposed to last like 20 minutes or something else. And by that, I mean having complex support issues being handled. I wouldn't do that now, right? And also in like traditional call center logic, you have first level support, second level support, third level support. And those levels represent the complexity of tasks, right? And I would suggest starting with the first level issues or like complications, right? Because the second and third is not solved yet for AI being so good. So rather have smaller contained use cases with a specific goal and not catch all manifold things to be solved. That works pretty well. To be very specific, what we see working pretty nicely is appointment bookings, right? So you call, and then during the call, you connect the calendar as well, and then it fetches the available slots, asks the human, are you available on Friday, 7 p.m. or at 5 p.m.? And then they iterate on the timing, and during the call, it does then the appointment booking. This works pretty nice. Second one is lead qualification and sending an SMS as a follow-up. This is something we see as well. And then we have like people that are very creative and have like are killing it for specific niche use cases. For example, like calling already people up that are in your CRM and that you had an interaction with in the last 7 days. For example, this dental office, and then calling it up and saying, hey, how about a teeth whitening solution? This is working pretty well. So doing like upselling on an already warm lead where you have a relationship already, right? And one other thing that was quite exciting that I saw recently, someone was killing it with that, is appointment reminders. You all probably have seen that via email, which always get lost for me at least. But imagine someone calling me saying like, hey, so soon. Well, in 1 hour, you have a call with Liam, right? You're going to attend. We want to talk about XYZ. Well, if someone calls me up like that, well, I get pressure to really go into that call. But also, it's a very strong signal for me then, right? Because someone called me up, it's a more stronger reminder than getting an email which lands in spam or is like muted off on my phone.
Yeah, especially if you use 11 Labs to clone Dwayne The Rock Johnson and he gives you a ring before you meet him.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good questions, Pat. Any more, mate?
Yeah, no, that's everything. Thank you so much for those responses. Yeah, really, really helpful.
Nice one, man. Good to see you. All right. Annie Rud. Sorry, mate, if I mispronounced that.
Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, so I have like 2 questions basically. So first question, I just thought about while the member from the SynthFlow team was talking about the levels, different levels of the support that humans provide during a call with a customer or a lead. So is there a possibility or a functionality to transition from level 1 to level 2, where the level 2 will be supported by the human being while the call is going on? Is there a functionality that does that, or?
Yeah, I can give you like an example of how one of our customers does that. So as Hassan mentioned, you have this call transfer function, right? So you can transfer it. And now comes the most interesting part. Even if you have multiple levels, you don't have to immediately transfer from agent to human. You can even transfer from an agent to an agent. It turns out it's so much better to create one agent for one particular topic, right? Let's say the first agent takes the general call. It's the reception front desk. The second agent is, let's say, has all the software FAQs, right? Depending what the topic is. And then one agent can transfer to the second agent And finally, you can also have a human behind, right? Maybe there is some very personal issue that there happened on the platform, etc. Then it can transfer also to the third one. So that's definitely possible. And I think the winning use cases in this space will be those that are like most elaborate. Basically, you have to think through like, how do I create a bulletproof workflow for this particular company, right? Maybe I create an agent that takes front desk and etc., etc. And if you have that, right, you have basically, I always call this is almost like a call option. You don't have downside risk, right? If something goes, let's say, wrong in the call, it can always be transferred to human. If not, then AI covers that and a lot of time is saved.
Right.
Thank-
And
thanks.
just to add to a point, this is not science fiction, but this is something we have already, right? So this is the assistant team feature where you call a number and you talk to one assistant, which you can think of a dispatcher, right? A receptionist. You call that person, you talk to the AI, and then you can have multiple other assistants, like here, Adam, Sydney, who you program with different prompts, different actions, and then the dispatcher, the receptionist, decides then to route them to the different specialist agents who are obviously better at handling specific tasks because they have the knowledge base, they have the specific prompt to solve that one complex issue, right? Yeah, I didn't want it to go into that. I did because this is something we want to go big soon and make a big campaign here. So yeah, you get some alpha here for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really helpful because we can definitely either involve a human being or maybe come up with different agents who can be trained upon their specification or specialization, and I think that would be a great feature to explore. The other question that I had was that even though SynthFlow is creating the voice agents, but are you thinking about or are you already have the capability of the text agents? For example, like if I have to just simply create a chatbot, which is a text chatbot, simply like take an example of like using OpenAI assistant and then connecting it with VoiceFlow and then putting it up on the website. So are we also doing that, or it is just simply the voice agents that the SynthFlow team is focusing on at the moment?
Yeah, great question. In fact, when we started the company, we started with text. So we already have text agents that you can create and use, right? Here is an example of that. This is our text agent, and you can combine them both into the workflows as well today already. So we have that text agent already, where you can configure the prompt of the text agent. Yeah, and you can have the settings of that. You can change the model. You can add tools to that text agent as well, like web browsing and whatnot, and basically test it out as well. So the text agent is there. One caveat: we started with text, and then it was just too simple for us. We want to work on harder nuts that we need to crack. That's why we went into voice, which is like 100 times more complex than text, turns out. So we are really focusing right now on getting voice right. And we still have the text. And I think it makes sense for our platform to have both modalities, text and voice. But right now, just as a caveat, we are really focusing on making voice awesome. That's why if you would have new feature requests for the text, which is already solid and people are using it, we wouldn't prioritize that. Just one thing to mention, because also text, you can do a lot of nice stuff. But yeah, TLDR is we have text and you can combine both.
Sure, that's great. And the last question would be about the pricing. So are you planning to have a buffer between the starter and the 499 or that 400 plus plan? Because for me, I don't have an agency at the moment. I have just 2-3 clients with whom I'm just exploring the AI chatbots. And if let's say luck favors me and I get a couple of more clients, or maybe the current clients want to use the AI voice agents, so I might want to start with something which has more than 50 minutes. but
Mhm.
not necessarily 2,500 minutes. So
Mhm.
something in the
Mhm. Okay, just one question. I think it's thank you for the feedback. So you want something that will not be white label, but will be something between starter and pro, right? So or you want white label but with less minutes. Do I understand it correctly?
So I think because I don't have the agency or I'm not running an agency at the moment, so I'm not thinking too far in terms of like making it very like the single source of bread for me, like earning the bread for me. So it's like, okay, let me just because they are the clients that I'm working with,
Yes.
I provide other services as well. So it is just one part of the bundle that I'm trying to give them. So maybe not necessarily going with the white labeling part of the
Sounds
yeah.
good. Look, definitely. I think we're thinking about this. We'll definitely, and in the meantime, feel free to reach out to us. Just send us an email or something. And we also created this discount that's also under Liam's video. Feel free to leverage that as well. And just mention that you are from Liam's community. And if you want something in between to get started, we'll definitely take that into consideration, and we'll try to offer you something at least for the beginning so that you hit the ground running. And then, of course, if you're successful, right, then we both will benefit from those. Yeah, do let us know. Reach out to us in Intercom or in website or per email. Just mention briefly, and we'll take care of that.
Yeah, that's really kind of you, and thank you for taking the time out to for responding to the queries, and thank you, Lime,
Thanks, man.
for the opportunity, man. Thanks, man.
Great questions, mate. Great questions. All right, we've got about 12 minutes left, so two more people with their hands
Liam,
up.
if I may mention one thing in between, sorry, I forgot. I just want to mention that we also have this white glove onboarding for agencies, but also like if you're, as I mentioned, starting like a bit lower, we can also offer you that. So what it means we will invite you to our Slack channel, right? We'll help you with the onboarding in the beginning. We'll help you with the prompting. If you have with the integrations and workflows, right? We want to make sure that you're successful, right? And you have the time to value as soon as possible. Sometimes if the case is very specific, we intro you to one of our partners that Sasun showed like in the beginning. So there are definitely white glove onboarding here involved, just so that you know. And once you are there, you message us, we'll invite you to Slack and take care of that part after that. Yeah.
Perfect. Nice one, mate. Okay, so we've got B and Kevin. Let's go B first, and then we'll jump into Kevin.
So is it possible to get the transcript from a call and send it out to our own API so we can do our own processing on it? Like
Yes,
all right,
absolutely.
cool.
That's possible. We have here nice API documentation. And there we have the get phone call API endpoint, and then you hit the endpoint, and basically you will get the call transcription, the status of the call, who was called, and all the information. So you could basically integrate that also to your tool that you're using. We have also Zapier integration. A Make integration is coming soon as well, but yeah, if you want to use it with
And
your
you can plug this into the workflow. So as soon as a call is done, it instantly triggers this and seamlessly goes through that process.
yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
cool. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Nice one. Cheers to the question, B. All right, Kevin. How we doing?
First of all, I'm really impressed so far. I think it's really mind-blowing. Just a quick question that popped up in me. In what languages are these AI agents available?
Right. So right now we really focused on English to make it work for English really nice. We are experimenting also with other languages, specifically German, French, Spanish. But right now we guarantee and work mostly on making English work. I think by end of the month, we will have more European languages as well, because like people are bombarding us a lot to get like German, French, Spanish. Yeah, but this is just a matter of time to re-roll it out. We just, like technically speaking, we just need to make it work for voice and do all the orchestration and like backend logic right. Once we have cracked the nut, which we are almost done with that, we can flip the switch to other languages as well.
Yeah, I can imagine that it's very hard to fine tune like the language side of the technical side of the language to get it naturally speaking, right?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a bunch of nuances for each language, but it's something we can solve for sure.
All right, sweet. That was it from my side. Thanks.
Nice one, Kevin. Appreciate the question, mate. All right, we've got Maximilian as well. Jump in, boss.
Yes, so quick question on security. So there might be use cases in which the tool handles very sensitive data, like for doctors, for example. Is that something that you don't have to worry about, or how is that handled?
Yeah, so we are in the process of adding PII and hyper compliance to render out sensitive data from the transcription already. It's something that we don't have right now, but we are on it to have it. So it shouldn't be much time left till we roll that out. I would expect that this month as well to be done. And then you don't need to worry about that. The data will get redacted already from the transcript, and it will also not be stored on any servers. And also, we are actually a European company based in Berlin, Germany. So GDPR is also something we will be fully compliant with as well. This is also on our roadmap.
On a more general note here, so we always tell to our customers, you know, like your local regulation better than us, right? If there is some case, do let us know, right? And if you need to be compliant, then we can also have a look from our side how that would be possible. But what Sasu mentioned, by releasing these generic compliance things, it will already cover probably more than 90% of the cases. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Yeah, no, I'm actually from Germany, so that's good to hear. Thank you.
Perfect.
Good stuff. Guys, really appreciate you jumping in. I've got one final question. Obviously, you've got all of these partners on the platform already, and I know we kind of highlighted, you know, what are the good use cases and what can be done. Is there anything else that you can share where you think, you know, these guys can get ahead? These guys on this call and these girls that are on this call, how can they get ahead with this? Surely there must be some crazy conversations going on at the office. Anything you can share there, or any insights at all?
You mean specifically for the use cases, or?
Yeah, use cases, what you're seeing with other partners.
Right.
How
Absolutely.
I know it's obviously you can't share everything, but is there anything you can share?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing, like generally, everyone who is in this call, he needs to have a badge because he is early, right? You are quite early. I mean, if you're really into like automation, etc., it feels like everybody is aware of something. But when you look broader into the market, you are quite early on this technology. And this is good because you need to get your hands on this, play around, understand the nuances, understand the right settings, understand the details of how to deploy it. And then you will figure it out. And once like the market converges, everyone will have a voice assistant on his telephone. You are the expert already, right? Which obviously takes always a little bit time to get familiar with new technologies. I assume you guys are very proficient already with AI and prompting, etc. But similar here, this is just one thing. Get started, try it out. There is low risk. You can just use SynFlow with like a 40-day trial. No big issue there. You can cancel anytime within the 14 days. It will be sad if you do so, obviously, but there is no risk for that. And get your hands there and play around and check with your customers, talk a little bit to them, see where are currently calls being made. For example, specifically for inbound, we see that there is like standard repetitive kind of appointment scheduling tasks that are already done, or lead qualification things that are already done that you can disrupt, right? So existing calls that are being made in businesses can be easily replaced already with this that are quite repetitive. This is one thing. And the second thing is, if you really want to squeeze out like a nice return on investment, I think it's super important to, as usual in sales, I guess, you guys tell me, but to have a good use case where you have in this voice space at least a little bit like more warm relation to that lead, right? What we see is like just having a random CSV file with 5,000 telephone numbers and just calling them all up. You still can get a return out of that for sure, but this is not that effective, right? Having a smarter use case like the appointment reminder follow-ups, for example, we see like very good returns on that. One thing that I really loved that I can just like leak here is someone was running webinars similar to here, and for Luma, he used Luma to collect all of those. For Luma, he called them up beforehand, right, to make sure they attend. Usually a webinar has 50% no-show rate. This is considered okay. While doing that, to call them up, he got to like 80% of attendance, right? And then after the webinar was done, he had built an automation to call all the people that have attended and then upselling those, right? This was a nice automation that he has built where I thought, well, okay, this seems to be like super nice. And he had good KPIs. He showed it to us. And yeah, this may be one of the leaks that I can tell you here. Probably you guys have more creative things or things that will also blow my mind. But when I saw that and the stats of that, I was thinking like, okay, well, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's killer. I think it's key though, right? Start small, get used to the platform, start to understand. That's how I learn. You know, I just start messing around with these tools, and then all of a sudden you start to realize the opportunities. They just come to you naturally. So